Behind every crime lies a story waiting to be uncovered, from chilling mysteries to untold truth. This is where the darkness comes to light.
Green buzz lights up the air, faces tense as stories tear, truth and lies like a tangled dance. Justice here takes no chance. Gavel strikes, hearts beat fast. Witness takes stand, shadows cast. Whispers loud like wildfire spread. In this game, none's ahead.
Hello, good morning. Oh, good morning. It's good afternoon. It's good evening for me. How is everyone doing? I am okay. I hope you guys are having an awesome Friday afternoon. Hi, Lois. Hi, Denise. I know Denise probably will be is driving right now, but I'm saying hello to you. Hi, Paula. Hi, Emily. Oh, hello, my friend. How you doing? Been thinking about you. How are you? How are you doing? I hope you are feeling much better from the illness you were suffering, because I still not going to try to say that name, because I still not have proper learn how to say it. So I was gonna say we are gathered here today. Zio, hello, hi. But I'm not gonna start that way. We are gathered here today to it's gonna be very a very heartbreaking stream, because we are gonna be watching a sentencing from Chase Jones out of Washington. Um, oh, definitely, it's gonna be very hard to watch this one. That is for sure, Paula. Oh no, I am so sorry. Oh, but definitely go back to the doctors, because if you're still not feeling unwell, Emily. But I am. We are gonna keep you close to our thoughts and hoping and fingers crossed that you're gonna be just fine, and that's it's gonna be over. The as soon as you know it, it's going to be all over and you're going to feel a lot better, and I really hope so. That for you, my friend. I'm sending you a lot of positive thoughts, hugs, all the good stuff, all the good vibes and everything, so you can feel better ASAP. Definitely this is going to be a very hard case, a very hard sentencing to do it, but I felt that we could cover it to kind of bring a little bit of of justice to the victims in this case. So if you haven't heard, this is Andrea Hudson was driving through Renton in Washington, near the suburbs of Seattle, with 5 children when 18-year-old at the time Chase Jones ran a red light at 112 miles per hour and crashed into the minivan which she was transporting the several kids. So the impact killed Andrea and the three children at the scene. Two of them survived. He is being charged with the 3 counts of homicide and 2 counts of assault, all vehicle assault and vehicle homicide. Is the maximum that is facing right now is a life in prison, and the state has proposed to for him to have a 17.5 years of imprisonment for the vehicle homicide and 7 years for the vehicle assault, which altogether would be a combine of 23 years. We'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be very hard sentencing to hear. It is going to be hard emotional, because we are expecting um that it's the family of the victims are going to be testifying, grandparents, parents, and all of that are going to be testifying in this very hard case. So it should start any moment now. We're just waiting for the feed to be available. I'm sure it's going to be starting pretty soon. But yeah, so that is the case. Just a little bit of an introduction of it. So if you did not know, or if you weren't aware, yeah. Oh, hi Jade, welcome in. Oh, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you are okay. Since we last saw you a couple of hours ago, I mean, that case, that was a nice wrap up for the Joseph Kinning. I did never learn to say his name, but he got what is deserved. So yeah. Hey, Hawkeys, how are you? How you doing? I hope you're okay. It's Friday. It's gonna be a very hard and very emotional stream, but we need to bring justice through Andrea and the three children that were uh, killed in this crazy freak accident that happened. So we're just waiting for this to kick in at any moment. I mean, hopefully it will kick in. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to scour the internet for something. I mean, well, there is a police standoff there happening right now. We could always watch that. That would always be an entertaining watch for sure to do. Oh, apparently Luigi Mangione was in court today, and he pled not guilty to the federal charges that he got accused of. So on that one, he is facing the unaliving penalty for that case. So oh yeah, um this case is it did not go to trial. He pled guilty, so it's going to go straight to sentencing. That's why we're here today. I really appreciate it. It is a very sad case. We are following this one because um sometimes we just follow some sentencings to just try to bring a bit of justice, and for the cases to be well spread around as well to other people. So that's why we normally do really appreciate that. And it's gonna be a hard one, but it is a good thing to bring justice to Andrea and to the kids that were um called in this senseless tragic accident, and to the kids and to the victims that still survived, that I am expecting and maybe thinking that they will testify on this case. But yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was like completely up to you. I That would be a lot appreciated, Keys. I really appreciated that. We just try to do a bit of everything to make sure that we can cover as much as we can. Obviously, sadly, we cannot cover everything. It's not human possible, but we do try our best, and I really appreciate that. I thank you very much, my friend. I am doing the hard thingy with my hands, but you can't see because today I still don't have my camera on. It's been a hard week to this week, and also I have my dinner right in front of me, as well. So that's why I'm still with no camera on, but. It will be okay. It's gonna be fine. I'll be back in camera next week. That's all okay. So it's not an issue. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate that a lot, Hockeys. You are amazing. Thank you very much, my friend. You got um. Thank you very much, Jade. I appreciate it. It's well something that sadly cannot be controlled by myself. Something that is just happening. It's one of those things in life that we all have to go through heartaches and situations that we don't like, but adulting, we have to still push it through and carry on and still doing things and just push it. So, hey, Ayo Backyard, how are you doing? Hello, my friend. Good, nice to see you here today. Hello, we are just waiting for the feed to kick in for this sentencing that we are waiting. I'm hoping they kick in soon, and I'm actually hoping they do come, because otherwise, well, we might just do something else. I don't know what we might do if they don't come on. That would be a little bit awkward, because I am relying on this feed. I did not do any research on this. I probably should have. I took a little bit of time between the last stream. Um, oh yay! Tell me about it. Crazy week. I had one of those. I was saying because I did not do any Ugh, any research on this because I had actually between the last stream and this one, I actually relaxed and was just watching a show and just chilled, had some junk food, which was nice and just decompressed. And now we jumped on this one. And that's why I'm really now hoping that they do come. Otherwise, I don't know. We're probably gonna do something else. I don't know if you have any suggestions like of something that we can do like in an hour or so. We probably can do that. Otherwise, it's gonna be a very short live stream. But it's okay. It's Friday. We can always enjoy a Friday night after a crazy week for many of us. Um well, actually, we could do this because there's this case that I keep my eye on. Sorry, I'm looking on YouTube, obviously, where I'm looking always for information and for things to watch. There's this case, the NHL murder trial that what's his name again, Sean Higgins, that he killed the players, the NHL players, the Gaudreau brothers. We could always watch the latest hearings that was a few days ago, so we can keep that in the back burner in case the sentencing thing doesn't go live, and then I can change the with the title and all of those crazy things. But we're just gonna give them a couple more minutes to see if the yeah, it's like I did a video a few days back as well, where I went through some documents for this case. But I would be interesting to listen to the hearing as well. So hey, we've got a backup. Um, Oh, I definitely need to do the Kansas Moms. Is that the Kansas Chiefs case? Not like Kansas Chiefs that are involved in it, but you know what I mean. Um, definitely need to do that, an investigation. It is on my list. I For some reason I have quite a few cases that I am interested on, and I need to definitely keep my eye out and do much more. No, ooh, what is the name? Give me a name if you have, or it's just if I Google that Kansas moms. Where's my pen? Hang on, I was just grabbing my pen to write it down because I have tomorrow, because it's Saturday. Saturday normally it's my like investigation day. I normally on Saturdays do some research on upcoming cases that people recommended to me. I will definitely Kansas mom's mother. All right, writing that down. And oh, Stephanie, hello. Oh, thank you very much, my friend. You sneaked in there. I didn't even see. Did you see? Ah, you did it not. Hello, Stephanie. Hi. Hello, my friend. I missed you. Hi. Hello. Thank you very much for that. Welcome in. Well, it is really, really nice to see you. Garden Bot is crushing bottles in the background, and I'm gonna kill him in a second. Sorry about that. Stephanie, you are indeed awesome. Thank you very much again. Hey, Case One, welcome in. Hello, my friend. We are still waiting for our you wanted to come in with the bang, and you certainly did, my friend. I really, really appreciate it. You are absolutely amazing. And well, I hope that the person that got the membership enjoys it and joins us soon in a live stream as well and takes advantage of it. I do really appreciate your support. You guys just being here, pressing that like button, it means a lot to me as well. It definitely helps a lot. You know, it's in the place that I work, they have a saying that every little helps, and it is true. So every little does help, and it is very, very much appreciated. So I am a little bit scared that I know it is amazing, and I appreciate that. I know I it was awesome. The thing is with the YouTube, it's a random thing, and we never know who's gonna get it. I just sometimes it feels a little bit what's the right word, annoying. That's like we love everyone that comes in, that pops in, that watches, that's lurking in the background. I appreciate every single one of you. But then there's other people that like are a bit active in the chat, and I know Case One knows that I'm talking about her because we've been trying to hit Case One for a very long time, and we haven't been able to. So one day we will. Aw, thank you very much, Stephanie. You are amazing as well. I hope Karen retrial is treating you well, because we definitely miss you around here for sure. Yeah, or obviously, it's like as a new creator, it's a very like learning curve, and there's a lot to learn. I'm still learning. I'm still new. I haven't not been doing this for long at all. It does feel some days that I've been doing this for a long time, but it's just I yeah, but it's and the YouTube is thing. The thing is, you always have something to learn. Oh, always, every day it's something new. If it is not this, is that. If it is not that, is that thingy over there. And it's something always to deal with, and it's a whole process. But it is rewarding. I love doing it. Sometimes the background work it's so much, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this again. But just the fact that we are building this community, it's an amazing reward, and having to be able to connect with all of you, it's awesome. We can breathe. Our feet is there. Well, not like it's still very sad, obviously, but yeah, I can have my food when this actually starts. Thank you very much. I do try my best. It's yeah, it is a long process, and you guys make it easy, it everything easier. Oh yeah, obviously, that is what all is about. No matter what your niche is, we all try to support each other and be there for each other, because it's not an easy thing. Believe me, people think that doing YouTube is just pressing the button to go live. No, it is not. It is a lot more involved. I know there is a bit of sound coming from court, and I apologize that I'm talking over it, but I will be quiet now. I think we just waiting for things to start. We can see some pictures already laid there of the victims in this case.
Did my whole presentation.
So, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I feel like I have a weird accent, but that's just me. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Ahí vamos. Hola. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo estás? Hello. Hi. Ahí vamos. How are you? I hope you are well. It's Friday afternoon. Well, it's Friday evening for me. What sorry. That was funny.
Your cell phones.
Yeah, the commercial came through. Um, oh, nice.
Or
Oh,
in the courtroom.
that is great. I'm gonna shut up now.
And hats off if you've got a hat on. It was Court TV playing an ad. Guess so. If I can squeeze behind. Representative Levitt here yet?
All please rise. Superior Court for the County of King is now in session. The Honorable Mark Larinaga presiding.
Good afternoon. Please have a seat. If you would, just give me a few minutes to set up.
Oh my days, Paula, Stephanie, thank you very much. You guys are amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Your support, it's so appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. You have tell you to pay money. I promise that I yeah. Oh my days, you all guys are amazing. Thank you very much for that. And Hawkeys, I will check it out. Rock Talk True Crime. I'll definitely will keep an eye out for you and I will check you out. No worries, my friend. I hope you have the best success ever in your channel and in your road to success as well. So it's just about to start. Courtroom is packed. Um, so it's gonna be emotional, guys. If you have need tissues, go grab it. Absolutely, it's gonna be a good wrenching. If you need to step up, it is absolutely okay. Take care of your mental health and your emotional health as well. So make sure that you come first and that you are first. It is gonna be emotional. It is going to be heartbreaking. So just make sure that you take care of yourself first as well. So here he comes. That's our defendant. That's I forgot his name, Chase Jones, and yeah, is 19 years old, by the way, guys. So, oh, this is gonna be heartbreaking. Obviously, anytime, girl. You know me. Always, I got you. I'll be quiet now. I'll be in the background.
Okay. All right, are we on the record,
No, now we are.
counsel?
Thank you. Your Honor, this is State of Washington versus Chase Daniel Jones under cause number 24-1-03358-7 Kent. I'm Amy Friedheim and Hannah Godwin are here on behalf of the state. The defendant is present with his attorney, Brad Barshas. We are here for sentencing after the defendant pled guilty on April 3rd, 2025. He pled guilty to 4 counts of vehicular homicide under the reckless manner prong for killing 38-year-old Andrea Smith Hudson, 12-year-old Boyd Buster Brown, 13-year-old Matilda Tilly Wilcoxon, and 12-year-old Eloise Wilcoxon. He also pled guilty to 2 counts of vehicular assault, also under the reckless manner prong, and both of those with aggravating injury aggravators for the injuries to Nolan Hudson, 14 years old, and 12-year-old Charlotte Hudson. Your Honor, he has an offender score of 10 on the vehicular homicides, which is a seriousness level 11, giving him a total standard range of 210 to 280 on lifetime $50,000 maximums, and also an offender score of 10 based on seriousness level 4, which gives him a total standard range of 63 to 84 months on 10-year 24 maximum for the counts 5 and 6. I just want defense counsel to confirm that they agree with the offender score and seriousness levels and ranges that I've set out for the court.
And again, good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, Brad Barshas on behalf of Mr. Jones, we do agree with all of those recitations of standard ranges.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So, Your Honor, yesterday I rewatched the 25-second clip.
Also, before you begin,
Yeah, oh, sure.
let me just make some preliminary remarks.
Yep.
I just want to put on the record what I've received
Oh,
and
okay.
reviewed. Also, a little bit about procedure for today, so we are all on the same page of what to expect. I received the state's pre-sentence report. Yes, perhaps it was yesterday, perhaps it was the day before. Nevertheless, I received and reviewed a supplemental, which was the thumb drive with the video. I've received quite a few letters on behalf of the victims. Also received letters on behalf of the defense. I also received directly to our court some email correspondence from members of the community that I believe have been forwarded to both parties. Uh, Received also the defense pre-sentence report. Does the state think I may have missed anything?
I don't believe so. And I just want to confirm, do you want us to file the emails that you received directly, or have those already been filed?
I'm not sure if they've been filed yet. Have they? They have not. We can go ahead and file those.
Okay.
Does the defense believe or think I may have missed anything?
No, Your Honor, I think you had everything.
All right, let me talk a little bit about procedure today. What I'm envisioning is that this, obviously the state will proceed first, set forth their recommendation. I'm aware that individuals wish to speak, which obviously is certainly appropriate. Anybody that does speak, what I ask is that you come to the podium, that you provide your name, and that all comments and remarks are directed to me. And I don't think this will happen, but I understand that emotions can get, it's an emotional situation. And so what I had asked is that no derogatory or disrespectful comments. And also, given the nature of this context that we're in today, that please feel free to take your time. There's no rush. If anybody that's speaking, they need to stop and breathe, please feel free to do so. After the state and the individuals on behalf of the victims, I'm sorry, I believe there might be a video as well.
Yeah, the families did bring a video, Your Honor.
After that is, we will take a short break,
Okay.
come back, proceed with the defense's recommendation and conclude the sentencing. Does the state have any objections to that process?
I think that sounds great, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor. Sounds good.
All right, thank you, counsel. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So as I was saying yesterday, I rewatched that 25-second clip that was sent to Your Honor that counsel and I have in discovery. And I watch it. It is a very clear video of the intersection where this collision occurred. And you can see a vehicle pull up and stop at what is a red light. And a second later, you can see Andrea Hudson's van filled with 5 children pull up behind that car and stop at the red light. There is a southbound vehicle that pulls up and slows down and stops. It is clear that at that point, that light is turning red, and the car in front of Andrea Hudson's vehicle then proceeds safely through the intersection, and a beat later, her van enters the intersection, and I stopped the video at that point. And I stopped the video because at that moment, Andrea Hudson is alive and laughing in the vehicle. There are 5 children, healthy, laughing. Are they singing? Are they telling jokes? They're all alive at that moment. And that's how I want to remember the people in that vehicle, healthy, alive. They will forever be 12 and 13 years old, 38 years old. Nolan and Charlotte will forever carry the scars in their heads and on their bodies from the injuries that they received. But at that moment, everybody is healthy. Everybody is happy. And I look at the video and where is Chase Jones? He's not in that video because his car is so far down the road, because he is driving at 112 miles per hour. That's 164 feet per second. That is less than a second to drive across the width of a football field. And who is the person who's behind that wheel? Well, it's a person who 11 months beforehand, less than a year beforehand, totaled his parents' car in May of 2024 and admitted on body worn video. King County Sheriff's Office got all the body worn from those previous crashes and admitted the road was open, so I gave it some gas. And he's there with his parents and lectured by the police. 8 months later, in January of 2024, again at night, he crashes and totals a second vehicle. His parents are in the body-worn video. They've arrived. The man who he hit doesn't speak English very well. And he's saying, he's so fast, I didn't see. And inexplicably, he got a ticket. But Chase admits he was going very fast, and they lecture him on the body-worn vehicle. And they tell him, you can't speed because you can hurt somebody. You could damage somebody. You are really lucky. Oh yes, his parents hear the lecture from the police. He hears the lecture from the police. Less than 2 months later, he is driving 112 miles per hour, about to cross this intersection and change lives forever. If you think about what would have stopped him from continuing his selfish recklessness, I don't know if it's this collision, because if you start the video again, and if you blink, first time I saw it, I thought there was a glitch in the video. If you blink, you miss the missile that is his vehicle that completely plows into the side of the van and takes it off camera. 2 other cars are damaged in this collision. So this is not just a 2-car collision. This was a 4-car collision. So what will stop Chase Jones from hurting other people in our community? It's not totaling his vehicles. Speed kills, we know this, but a prosecutor's job is threefold. We're quasi-judicial officers, not total judicial, but we're quasi-judicial officers. And our job is first to the community, for community safety. And we can't promise the community safety unless Chase Jones is off the street for long enough such that he will get out. This is not a lifetime sentence. He will get out. And his parents will have grandchildren with him. And they will have dinners with him. And they will watch him grow old. That will never happen to the parents who lost their 4 children, because 38, you're still a parent to a child. What will stop him? I don't know. But I have to say that as a prosecutor, we have to protect the community. The second thing is we have a duty to our victims for some accountability. And the third thing is we have a duty to the defendant. He's 18. His parents gave him 2 cars that he totaled and are proud that he saved money to buy a 3rd car at 18. So we balance out what could the sentence be, what protects the community, but also understand that he was 18. Your Honor, he pled as charged to all the felonies, including the aggravators. And I know that Your Honor knows what that means for those 2 aggravators. And that's why the defense pre-sentence report talks about youthfulness. We took into consideration that, and that's why we're asking that all of these counts be served concurrently. And we are asking that the low end of the standard range be on the fatalities, but high end of the standard range be on the 2 vehicular assaults. although they will all be served concurrently for a total of 210 months if Your Honor follows the joint recommendation. This is a violent strike event. It was extraordinarily violent. And because of that, there's 18 months of community custody. And on that community custody, the defense has agreed to several conditions, including that he not drive without an intelligent speed assistance device on active mode. Now, right now, on the governor's desk is Bill 1596. It was brought forward by Representative Levitt after this collision, but not because of this collision. If the governor signs it, we'll be the third state in the nation to have intelligent speed assistance devices in the law. That doesn't prohibit, Your Honor, from ordering one. The act on the governor's desk, though, was named by the Senate the Beam Act for Buster or Boyd, Eloise, Andrea, Matilda. So there's a legacy that maybe out of this, other people will not cause the damage that Chase Jones has caused. So we do ask Your Honor to order the intelligent speed assistance device in active mode. And what that does is it prohibits the driver from going 10 or more than 10 miles per hour over whatever the posted speed limit is. And it works by GPS, and some modern cars will tell you how fast you're going. And if you exceed the speed limit, it'll flash. That's an inactive mode. This device actually stops you from going more than 10 miles over whatever the posted limit is. Similar to the ignition interlock device. So we do ask you to order that. We ask you to order that he attend the aggressive level 2 driving program, and that he not drive without a valid license and insurance and have no moving violations. He has agreed to pay the legal financial obligations out of this. And sentencing, restitution will have to be determined at a later date. In the plea agreement, we started to let the court know there's some CVC, and the defense is aware of that, but the full amount of restitution we will have to determine at a later date. I don't anticipate it being much more than what we have put forward already. There is a Title 46 fee for all Title 46 crimes. It's $50. And there, of course, because he's agreed that he can pay these, there's the $500 victim penalty assessment. We are not asking for any court costs. And the defense is a private defense attorney, so there are no recoupment fees associated with this. I know that we have many speakers who are going to address the losses that they felt. So unless Your Honor has questions about our plea agreement or how we came to this decision or anything in the plea agreement, I'm going to turn the floor over to my colleague to start to introduce the victims.
Thank you. I don't have any questions for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state invites King County Sheriff's Office Deputy Stephen Johnson to speak.
I want to say thank you to the court for allowing me to speak. My name is Steve Johnson. I'm a deputy sheriff with King County. Before I share my thoughts, I just want to comment that I'm grateful these beautiful pictures are up here. It's a good reminder why I wanted to come speak. I've been thinking well over a year on what I would share if given the chance to speak today, so I'm grateful for that. I've been a law enforcement officer in the state for over 25 years, most of it with King County Sheriff. And I was, and I will say fortunately, one of the officers that responded to this collision. There aren't words to describe what that was like. I only want to speak to what I know. One of my roles at my agency is I am one of the peer supporters for my department. I believe very strongly in the services that we can offer to one another at my agency. And I just want to take this opportunity to share how this has impacted the first responder community. First responders come to this career for various reasons. Some come to help, some come to serve, but I believe there are common traits that run throughout. And I believe there are many of us that are drawn to this because we are meant to be strong and tough, but also balancing it with compassion. Since this collision, I have had officers who work in our area who I would call are the tough and the strong ones. These are the officers who go into our communities every day and they serve with courage every day. And they often don't share their outward emotions for others or what's going on. I will tell you that some of them, and I will not name them, but they were so impacted by this, I got to see their humanity come through and reach out because they were hurting so deeply from what they did and what they saw at this collision. I was asked by many coworkers and friends and even some of my family what I would say today. And I'll be honest, right now, I'm actually struggling with words. I think that it would be wrong for me to use this opportunity to speak about hate or anger or I think that this is best if I speak about a message of forgiveness. The families have demonstrated grace in a way that I have not seen ever. It was moving, to put it lightly. They've been very open about their faith. And I want to believe that's where they have found strength. And it has been inspiring for me and many others to witness that. I know, and they have demonstrated this, that there is a God in heaven that forgives. And I hope that someday Chase Jones can also have that forgiveness. I don't know what it's like to lose a child. I've experienced a lot of tragic things in my career, but I will never understand. I hope I never do what it's like to lose a child. my hope is that someday when Chase gets out of prison, if that's what happens, I actually hope he can have a family someday. I say that because I think only if he has a family of his own could he understand the bond of a parent and a child. And maybe then he can understand what he did. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now, Your Honor, we'll hear from Olivia Brown, sister of Boyd Buster Brown.
In the last year, I have considered driving to Chase Jones's home dozens of times. I have wanted to ask him questions. I have wondered, what is he like and what does he feel? Is he remorseful? Or does he just regret his choice on March 19th for its costs on himself? For the rest of my life, I will not know how to answer when someone asks me how many siblings I have. I will not play fiddle songs with my brother again, or bike around the neighborhood with him, or wash dishes while he loads them into the dishwasher. For the rest of my mom's life, she will mourn the boys she can no longer raise and watch grow up. My dad will never play basketball with his two sons on the court again. For the rest of his life, my brother Warner will live with the loss of his best friend and playmate. My little sister Nora may not remember the brother I love and know. She will never develop more of a relationship with him. We will live forever with a big hole in the room every time we gather. The Hudson children will never be held or comforted or taught or fed or put to bed by their own mother again. And for the rest of his life, Abe will live without his high school sweetheart and lifelong friend, lovely Andrea. And the Wilcoxons have lost their eldest daughters. For the rest of their lives, they will have to live without Matilda and Eloise, who were some of the best girls I've known. As for Buster, Andrea, Matilda, and Eloise, they don't have any lives to live at all. Andrea will not raise her children. Buster, Matilda, and Eloise will never have families of their own. Considering this, I cannot see how any sentence Chase receives could make up for these losses. How could Chase have known what we would lose as he put full weight onto his gas pedal? Your Honor, I want Chase to know the brother I knew. I want him to see Eloise and Buster jumping over a fence in the sunshine in the middle of a run last spring. I want him to see Andrea's birthday cakes and Matilda's potted plants on the windowsill. If I was the judge of this trial, I would sentence Chase to watching the recordings of the 3 funerals and revoke his license for life. I'm not sure what amount of jail time will change him for the better and not the worse, but it is most important to me that he doesn't go behind the wheel and that he lives differently. I pray that Chase's sentence will push him in a positive direction. And finally, I pray for you. I cannot imagine being in your shoes, Your Honor. I cannot imagine a more difficult trial or complicated circumstances, but in the end, I pray that you'll be guided to the most merciful and just sentence, even if that pushes what is traditionally accepted in American courts. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Your Honor, we'll hear from Jaron Brown, father of Boyd Buster Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm Jaron Brown. I'm Buster's dad. I appreciate the opportunity to address the court and provide a glimpse of the impacts that the events of March 19th had on our family and my friends and myself. I've seen the future and know that a lifetime of grief awaits my wife and me. I lost my own father when I was a baby, and I grew up hearing stories about my dad from my grandmother, his mom. To her dying day, 40 years after the plane crash that killed her son, she would get teary and weepy recounting stories of her son. And that's the future that my wife and I have in store for ourselves. To our dying day, we will carry that grief and pain. I don't think I'm stretching the truth too much to say that by nature I am and always have been a pretty cheerful and optimistic person. The events on March 19th, 2024 have introduced a new word into my regular life, and that's hate. I hate Tuesdays. The crash happened on a Tuesday. I hate the 19th of every month, regardless of what day of the week it is. I hate the entire year 2025 for being the year that Buster never saw. I hated the first warm day of spring this year because the day of the crash was an unusually early warm spring day. I hate seeing other drivers weaving through traffic, especially if they're driving an Audi. I hate driving through the intersection of 192nd and 140th, which I do almost every day, and looking at the exact spot where Buster, Matilda, Eloise, and Andrea had their lives taken. I hate that my two closest friends of the past 10 plus years have had their families shattered and have had walk the same difficult path with me. I hate that my now 4-year-old will never have more than just a small handful of memories with her brother. I hate not being able to promise a worried 11-year-old that I'll come back when I leave the house, because I can't make that promise. I hate that my older son lost his best friend in the whole world. And I hate that next fall, when my oldest daughter, who just spoke, leaves for college, that her departure won't be the last day that our family spends together under one roof. I absolutely hate coming home from work and finding my wife alone in a bedroom, looking at pictures and crying for her lost son. There's one thing that's curious about all the hateful experiences I've had over the past year plus. And that's the one thing I don't hate is Chase Jones. I can only attribute that to having been the subject of many thousands of prayers on my behalf for healing. I aspire to forgive him, but to be honest, I don't think I'm all the way there yet. I do know it brought me no pleasure on the day of the plea hearing to see him handcuffed and led away from his own crying mom. Regardless of how I feel or don't feel towards Chase, I recognize that accountability and justice and deterrence are bigger concepts than my own personal feelings, and that our community and society can't function without holding up those important ideals. Thank you.
Thank you.
The court will now hear from Jessica Brown, mother of Boyd Buster Brown.
Your Honor, can't say I'm grateful to be here, but I am grateful for the opportunity to have a voice in this court today on behalf of my son and my dear friend Andrea and my two adopted nieces, Eloise and Matilda. The actions of Chase Daniel Jones have greatly impacted mine and my family's life. I feel like I lost not only Buster, but myself that day. I used to be a reliable, active participant who showed up with a willing heart and cheery disposition in my various communities that I was a part of. Now what I have to offer feels like an empty shell of a person who has no bandwidth to spare. I've had trouble sleeping since the crash, often being woken up by the sound of racers in the valley, which brings immense feelings of anger and pain to the forefront and makes it hard to fall back asleep. My view of the vulnerability of life and anxiety for my children's welfare has gone up tenfold. When my teenagers say goodbye and drive away, I worry every time now that they might get hit. When they have been driving somewhere and call my phone, a part of me wonders if this is the moment where they tell me that they got in an accident. I see Chase's speeding Audi in my mind every time I turn left out of my neighborhood and imagine him running into me. For a long time, every time I heard sirens, the horrific crash scene would pop up in my mind as if someone had turned on a projector in my head that I can't switch off. I imagine it'll take a lot of therapy and the rest of my life to really work through some of these hard things. One of my daughters, as Jaren mentioned, who used to happily babysit her younger sister, is now afraid to be left alone. If I have to leave, even only for a short time, she cries and asks, "How do I know you'll come back, Mom?" I can't honestly say to her the comforting words I so often used to rehearse to her, sung by the cartoon character Daniel Tiger, who sang "Grown-ups Come Back." That's certainly not something my dear friend Abe can say to his kids anymore, because their mom didn't come back. My son Warner, who was there by my side to witness the unimaginably sad scene of the crash, hardly spoke for 3 days after finding out that his brother his second mom and his 2 dear friends were killed, and that his other 2 friends were in critical condition. He just walked around our house with a blanket wrapped around his head for those 3 days, wandering in a daze from room to room. He slept on his older sister's floor for 4 months because he couldn't bear to go back to the room he shared with his little brother and best friend. I've watched my oldest daughter struggle with feelings of sorrow and isolation as she goes through her senior year, a year that's typically supposed to be fun. I have often heard her in her bedroom crying at night in the dark when she should be sleeping peacefully. Even my 4-year-old, who was only 3 at the time, gets sad and will ask me from time to time questions like she asked last night when I was tucking her in. Mom, did God want Buster to die? That show me, even though she's little, the impact on her is still profound. No 4-year-old should have to ask these hard questions. The weeks and months that followed the crash, I watched my cheerful, adventurous, and fun-loving husband turn down opportunities to engage in the hobbies he used to love. He became more lethargic, apathetic, and down than I've ever seen him. He even got sick for about 6 weeks with pneumonia. He was sicker than I've ever seen him in his life, and I believe it was due to his stress and grief. Your Honor, these descriptions are just a window into the impact on me and my family, but don't even speak to the impact of a future without Buster. The future where he would be getting a license, going on a first date, serving a mission, getting married, and one day becoming a father, which he was so excited to do one day. Nor do they speak to the impact the crash has had on the Hudsons and Wilcoxon family. Your Honor, I don't envy your position. I don't know what the right thing is to do. I've grappled with it, rewritten this about 10 times. But knowing that prisons don't have a great track record of changing people for the better, rather than advocate for an extended period of jail time, I'd like to advocate for 2 things. First, that part of Chase's sentence is watching the funeral videos of all 4 of the beautiful people his speeding killed that day. And second, I don't even know if this is possible, but that his license be permanently revoked. May the grace of God be with you as you make this decision, and also the grace of God be with Chase as he's held accountable to the consequences of this sad tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we'll now hear from Chase Wilcoxon, father of Matilda and Eloise Wilcoxon.
Your Honor, I thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Chase Wilcoxon. I'm the father of Matilda, Jane, and Eloise Margaret Wilcoxon. I have the impossible task of describing the impact of all this. How do I describe infinite? How do I help anyone understand what it's like to hear Rivka's breathless voice on the phone saying someone had just killed her best friend, our daughters, and their best friend Buster? To then arrive at the crime scene myself to help the detective identify the bodies. To spend that evening at Harborview waiting with Abe and praying that Charlotte and Nolan would survive. To not be able to have an open casket viewing because Eloise's beautiful skull had been crushed and their bodies severely mangled. To be mixed with both joy and devastation at the birth of our new daughter, who will never know her older sisters. To watch my wife silently suffer while trying to still be a fun and loving mother, wife, and friend. To realize that Chase didn't just kill our daughters, but our future grandchildren. And their children, and so on. To wake up every day realizing that the nightmare is real. And all of this is only the impact on us. What about the lives that each of the dead should be having right now? Matilda and Eloise should have decades of their life left to live and experiences to have. A first kiss, falling in love, getting married, raising children. thousands of people they could have befriended, loved, and influenced for good, as they often did. He will never know what it's like to look into Matilda's giant, deep hazel eyes, or be inspired by Eloise's daringness despite her natural anxieties. He'll never understand what important leaders they were in our family, how lovingly they cared for their special needs brother. He has no idea what it's like to hold his own child tightly and feel their heart beating in their chest. How could he? How do I describe infinite impact? It's impossible. Chase Jones has destroyed our lives. This was no accident. This was no dumb mistake. 112 miles per hour, no braking, no swerving. But despite all of this, I do not hate him. I take no pleasure in his suffering. The only thing holding us together is our faith in God and hope in Jesus Christ. There is good that can come from this situation if he finally learns and is allowed to take responsibility for his actions. I have faith that the power to truly change can be his if he chooses. But it is apparent that he needs guidance in that process, and it isn't going to happen without some pain. I'm far from a perfect parent, but even I know that shielding your children from consequences is like building volatile pressure. If you don't let the pressure release with small consequences, it builds and builds until a catastrophic conclusion like the one we're in now. We are here today at least in part because Chase Jones was allowed to continue his destructive habits without consequence. Your Honor has the unenviable responsibility to arbitrate between justice and mercy, to rightly balance Chase's consequences. Like the parent he desperately needs, you must decide how best to help him reform. I don't want another life destroyed. There's already been too much of that. I do want Andrea, Matilda, Eloise, and Buster to be as real as possible in his mind. Inevitably, their abstract thoughts to him, he didn't know them. Perhaps you could order him to watch each of the recorded funerals or review the body cams of the first responders that day, or review the autopsy files and pictures. Anything to remove abstraction. You could help the community by ordering him to speak to other teens about the dangers of racing. You might also consider permanently removing his privilege to ever drive again. I want consequences for Chase, not because of hate or vengeance, but because those consequences are necessary for his change. These consequences should be designed to help this process and to send a message to the community that we do not tolerate this sort of disregard and disrespect to human life. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now the court will hear from Rivka Wilcoxon, mother of Matilda and Eloise Wilcoxon.
My name is Rivka Wilcoxon. I am a close friend of Andrea Hudson, and of Buster Brown, and the mother of Matilda and Eloise Wilcoxon. For the last several years, my husband and I have deliberately constructed our family life to be in close association with these families, the Browns and the Hudsons, for many reasons, foremost among them being the diligent and adventurous, faithful and kind influence of Buster Brown. We want our sons to grow up to be like Buster. And the loving, playful, creative, and gentle influence of Andrea Hudson. We want our daughters to grow up to be like Andrea, I want to grow up to be like Andrea. These people are family to us. And Matilda and Eloise, from the moment we learned that we were expecting them, they have lit up our lives. They've been important leaders in our family of 7 children. They've brought us and countless other people so much joy. We were quite young parents, and we grew up with them in many ways. These 4 people loved and created beauty and goodness, and we feel their absence constantly. The loss of any one of them would have been devastating. The loss of all of them at once is unspeakable. Merely as an observer, my heart is broken over and over again as I watch my dearest loved ones bitterly grieve these losses, especially my sweet friend Jess and Jaron and their children, and Abe, his children, and my husband, whose world revolves around his children. As a mother, the instinct to nurture and to protect the life that I created in this body is still there, even though my children aren't. My longing for them is like a heavy, cumbersome burden that I can't put down. It's always in the way, making everything feel difficult. The evening before the crash on a family bike ride in the sunshine, Matilda and Eloise were bickering over who got to pull the bike trailer, carrying their little brother Peter, who has a genetic disorder and can't ride a bike. I'd give almost anything to hear them bicker with each other again, to hear them singing and laughing with their little sisters, Blythe and Esther, for them to wrestle their little brother Hugh, for them to know their baby sister Georgia, born 6 months after the crash. Give anything for the comfort of knowing that they'll be there for Peter when his dad and I aren't. For a family photo with all my children together. We belong to each other, and we belong together. Their lives are unspeakably precious. And not just because they're our children, but because they're God's. As is Chase Jones. And I would like him to know that while nothing I can say can absolve him of responsibility for his actions, I do forgive him. That he is loved with a perfect love. This is not the end of his story. I hope that a long and useful and happy life awaits him. Your Honor, I don't envy your task today, and I don't have a recommendation for you. I think it's regrettable that there's currently no legal avenue to prevent someone who has taken 4 lives with a vehicle from ever operating one again. I consider driving a privilege and not a right, and that would seem to me a fitting consequence. But perfect justice isn't possible in this world, and I hope that going forward, we can all just take more seriously our responsibility to be our brother's keeper, to encourage and nurture one another, especially our youth, in love and in truth. No sentence that you pass can restore Nolan and Charlotte to their former health, or our children, or Andrea, or Buster. That reunion will have to wait, and in the meantime, my only hope of peace is in the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Thank you.
The court will now hear from Ted Smith, father of Andrea Hudson and grandfather to Nolan and Charlotte.
Your Honor, I'm Ted Smith, the father of the deceased driver of the van, Andrea Hudson, and grandfather of the surviving passengers, Nolan and Charlotte Hudson. In a bit, you're going to all see wonderful videos of the 4 deceased. And you'll see what we've all been talking about. Andrea was happy and loving. She was an educated young mother and wife with a calm, confident smile that touched everyone. And she had a contagious laugh that you'll hear. She was deeply loved by many, family, big families, as you can see, and friends. As always, she was helping children and friends in that devastating moment of the crash. Her loss is incalculable to all of us. Now, we've all just celebrated Easter, and as you may know, all of the victims and their families share a Christ-centered faith, believing in the resurrection, that we can all live again, and in the importance of forgiving others. Now, turning to the sentence of Mr. Jones, while in my heart I want to fully forgive him, he violated critical laws designed to prevent the kind of horrific tragedy that he caused. For his personal thrills, he senselessly and intentionally drove like a missile through a busy neighborhood. My greatest concern is the future safety of our communities from Mr. Jones and others like him. Although the prison sentence range felt short to me, I respect the plea agreement reached by these capable attorneys and by Mr. Jones himself. I recommend, within the terms of that agreement, that he receive a 23-year prison sentence, which I understand can be reduced to about 15 years with good behavior. I also recommend that he be restricted from operating any motor vehicle in the future unless it's been appropriately equipped with anti-speeding technology. Some have talked about suspending his license for life or whatever, and that's probably some part of it, but I understand from national statistics that 75% of people with suspended licenses still drive. They find a way to drive. Having this technology that we now have could be a wonderful way to make sure that he's never allowed to speed again the rest of his life. Thank you for your consideration, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And now the court will hear from Robin Smith, mother of Andrea Hudson and grandmother to Nolan and Charlotte.
Your Honor, I'm Robin Smith, the mother of Andrea Hudson and the grandmother of Nolan and Charlotte Hudson. On the day of March 19th, 2024, my life and the lives of my family members changed forever. I received the news that my beautiful daughter Andrea was gone. I was also told at that time Charlotte was gone, and the only survivor of the car crash was Nolan. That Buster and Eloise and Matilda were also gone. A couple hours later, we were informed that Charlotte was alive. Never could I have ever imagined a tragedy like this happening to our family. Nolan sustained some very serious physical injuries, and Charlotte a severe brain injury due to the crash. I have no words to describe the loss of Andrea being gone from my life. My heart is broken, and my heart aches for her every day. I miss her smile, her laugh, our conversations. I miss having her at all our family gatherings, and we have quite a few. I miss her walking into the kitchen and saying, "Hi, Mom." My heart aches for my children and for the Browns and the Wilcoxon families. It aches for Abe losing the love of his life and his best friend. And it aches terribly for my 3 grandchildren who've lost their mother. She brought so much joy into their lives. She was a peacemaker. She was an extremely kind and patient. She had a quiet strength about her. She was full of poise and grace. She loved to create things, and she loved to make her home beautiful. A beautiful environment for her family. She loved all her family, but Abe and her children were her life. They were her top priority, and she loved being a mother. Her family was her life. No one in the world can replace her. We all try to fill the void for the grandchildren the best that we can, but it cannot be completely filled without her. She was their everything. She was their light in the darkness. She was their hope when they were fearful. She was their calmness when they were anxious. And she was their joy in times of stress. She was the heart of their family, and she was their love. And they were the loves of her life. I feel the loss of Andrea every time at our family gatherings, when I look at her children, when I look at Abe, when I look at my children, when I'm in her home, when I want to get her advice, when I use avocado cooking spray, when I wear my red shoes, when I look at family photos, when I see a rainbow, and the list just goes on and on. There are so many lives that have been shattered by this incident. I know Chase Jones' life is severely affected too. My heart goes out to Chase Jones and his family, and I pray for them. I want Chase Jones to have a good life and a beautiful life. I personally don't want to see him go to prison. I don't think prison will help him improve his life. I wish there were some other way he could be held accountable for his actions. I know that we have to be held accountable for our actions, and I don't know what the answer is. I understand there has to be accountability, and I don't want to see this happen to another person or another family. I feel that if he maybe had been accountable in any of the earlier collisions, maybe that would have helped him, and maybe it would have prevented this terrible tragedy. I want to tell Chase Jones that I forgive him. In no way does this make the life of my daughter, Andrea, or Buster, or Eloise, or Matilda insignificant, but it helps me to have peace in my heart. And I want to be able to help my family. And by forgiving, I feel like I can have this peace, that that's the way that I can create a beautiful life for my family. My hope is to help my grandchildren to build a beautiful, meaningful life for themselves, full of hope and light and joy. I want to create new, wonderful memories for them and to keep the memory of their mother alive. I want to see beauty for ashes, as it says in the book of Isaiah. Thank you.
And finally, the court will hear from Abraham Hudson, husband of Andrea Hudson and father of Nolan and Charlotte.
Your Honor, I am Abe Hudson, husband of Andrea Hudson and father of Nolan and Charlotte Hudson. Just want to share a few things in the short time that I have. On Saturday, March 16th, 2024, life felt close to perfect. Our family was together enjoying a sunny day in the snowy mountains, celebrating Charlotte's 12th birthday, teaching our 3 children how to ski. I can now only imagine the beautiful smile that Andrea would have had and the happiness that our family would have felt on that day. On that day, our dream had come true, a dream that we had put everything that we had into for the last 20 years. 3 days later, on March 19th, our world and the dream that we had created was shattered in an instant. It was destroyed by a senseless and a completely avoidable tragedy caused by an individual who, while not under any substance influence, made the conscious decision to race through that intersection at an incomprehensible speed, killing my wife, Andrea, killing 3 of our dearest friends, and permanently injuring 2 of my children. I arrived at the crash scene that day with my 8-year-old son, Jude, who has always been inseparable from Andrea. Due to significant learning challenges, Andrea decided to homeschool him and our other 3 children. She dedicated her life to them. I can only now imagine her sitting with him on her lap, patiently helping him with so much love. I can also still feel the pain that we felt that day after Jude and I discovered that the most important person in both of our lives had been killed. I can still see the fear and the pain in his eyes. I can still feel the anguish that I have from having to leave him and rush to the hospital, not knowing what condition my other 2 children were in. That month that followed was worse than any nightmare that I could ever imagine. As I paced back and forth from my 2 children's hospital rooms, feeling completely alone and scared, not knowing if they would recover, if Charlotte would ever smile again or speak again, fearing what they might remember from the crash, the pain of having to tell them that their mother had been killed, while not being able to be with and comfort Jude at home. And unfortunately, that only scratches the surface of the impacts. There's no way in this short amount of time to begin to describe the pain that we had to endure and continue to endure, this pain and fear that we still carry and feel every day. Nolan will have to deal with the impacts of a compromised immune system and limited range of motion for the rest of his life. Charlotte, the impacts of a severe traumatic brain injury for the rest of her life. There will be a gaping hole in all of our hearts for the rest of our lives from the loss of Andrea and our dear friends Matilda, Eloise, and Buster. We will never recover from this tragedy. We are left with lifelong physical, financial, mental, and emotional damages. Your Honor, nothing is going to bring them back or make this right. However, I can only hope that somehow the sentence given reasonably reflects the magnitude and lasting impacts of this heinous crime. That somehow today's outcome gets enough attention in our community to provide a positive impact, that it convinces some people to rethink their selfish decisions, to stop and care about those around them, that it somehow can save lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, at this time, the families have put together a video for Your Honor's viewing, if I may play it.
Of course.
If you close the door, night could last forever. Leave the sun shine out, say how long to never. All the people are dancing.
There she goes again. Nice job, Till. Good job.
You have to go with me. Are you? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go!
There's Mom.
Everybody dance.
I didn't even see you had makeup.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, good night. And Your Honor, that concludes the state's presentation.
Thank you. Why don't we take our afternoon break at this, nothing else from the state, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Why don't we take our afternoon break and come back in about 15 minutes? We'll be in recess.
Wow, guys. I don't even know where to start. Kara, that's not yours. This is just a sentencing. This is not the trial. This is just the sentencing. So there's no jurors. It's just I think the media is the one staying in the in the jury box. Sorry, I've been crying a lot in the background. Very glad that I don't have the camera on. I agree with that. I like Paula says that I can say that holding on to so much anger only makes it worse for the family. I just I agree with that, but oh, to be able to forgive is hard. It's a big thing. It's a thing that you have to work throughout a long time, and this family somehow was able to do in this short amount of time because this only happened last year. Um, it's just a heartbreaking thing. I need to remove it. I am sorry, otherwise I'm just gonna carry on crying. And now that I'm talking, I can't cry, but I am so sorry, Paula. I'm sending hugs to every single one of you. That it's in here. Um, but I I know obviously we don't even have a say in this, but that touches in that the history of speeding. I think them asking to go with the agreement of 17 years or 210 months. Um, um, it's not enough for this. It is not enough. 210 months is nothing. With good behavior, you can be out in less than 15 years. You can be out, or even less than that. I don't know, but it's I don't think because he can still have a family in 15 years, 17 years. He's still gonna be like 36 years old. So it is not fair. He should, in my opinion, he should be in there for the rest of his life, not just um yeah, exactly. It could be out in 5, and what kind of justice is that? I know the family is forgiven and everything, but as a fact of getting the justice for this lost the people that were lost, moms, dad, so it's just like, yeah, I know. What kind of math is that, William? What kind of math is that? How is that justice? Um, it's yeah, obviously I am so sorry, Paula. I apologize. Probably this is was not the best stream to do. But I think I needed to cry after this hard week. I needed something to make me cry because otherwise I would not uh, cry and I would just carry on, and I needed that. But Paula, please enjoy your week, and I'll touch base with you in a second. Um, oh no, Kara, I couldn't either. I've said this before. I absolutely could not be this forgiven. I think I would tell that person what I wish to tell to many people in my life that have hurt me, in my past. That just sort story. I wish there's two people in this world that I wish they never come across to me, because otherwise you guys are going to be covering my unaliving trial, and that I agree. So, and that's I don't care. You guys are going to be covering my unaliving trial if I come across two people in this world, and they better not. Um, it's I know, and I've learned this morning when I was doing some research. So, uh, I know, I agree with you, Zia. We might not like if it is what it shows. I agree, but we're still just sharing our feelings and talking about it. But I'm apologizing because I say sorry a lot. That's all I say. I say sorry a lot. You know that. Zio knows that. Paula knows that. Um, I I say sorry every single sentence. I mean, we should create an apology swear jar where every time I say sorry, and I don't have to, I should put the dollar in it. But and then I would be able to afford to go to America tomorrow, because for the amount of sorry I say. Um, but that's not here or there. Um, uh, in certain circumstances they could be, not in all. You are a pretty great, amazing person. From what I've been able to get to know you a bit more this week, due to everything, I find you pretty an amazing person, and you do absolutely great, Kara. And we all have our weak points. I have many of them, believe me. Oh, I do. I'm a perfectionist. I don't know how to say no. So, yeah. Um, um, You're gonna be rich. Who said that I was gonna give you any money, Zio? I just said that I was gonna go to America. That's all. And probably stay there forever because I'm not gonna want to come back. But um, oh yeah, it's he can help his story from the inside to help each other, but he needs to learn and he needs to have consequences for his actions. Yes, he's already he's taking the consequences and he's being a grown up about it, and he did not force the families to go through an unnecessary trial and all of that, but he also still needs to learn that not just because he's doing the correct things he can walk away with barely anything happening to him. So but you see that you're bringing here to no, I am not. So I I absolutely am not. No, I'm joking. I will treat you to something special, maybe. um oh, thank you very much, Kara, for that. I'm just doing my part. I'm just me. I have a lot of flaws, and I try my best and I just be me. So um I'm gonna stop crying eventually. It's this is getting me emotional, and it is a very emotional thing, and I want to be respectful, and it's just that this week has been hard, and I want to cry. So and the guys I used to hear me cry, they already know my crying voice. So,
I haven't even
you know, it's nothing new that I don't cry on stream. It's actually very often that I do cry because I've got the opportunity to get to know amazing people. Every single one of you in chat is amazing, and I'm so very glad that I have been able to interact with you every day. I don't take that for granted, and I really appreciate it. You know, you know. Um, but I'm trying not to cry anymore. But you're making me cry. Um, exactly, we are. But sometimes, yeah, we all think. I think that I should be perfect. I should be, for example, live all the time. I know I don't know how to say no. Uh, that's one of my imperfections. That I don't know how to say no. I am a people pleaser, and when I start something, I go forward until the end, and it's right on I. There's no middle ground. So, but you live and you learn, with life. But this is just it's a heartbreaking case. So it, we I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that the judge should be lenient and only give them what they agreed on, the 210 months? Or should it just get life or even more? Because the judge might not say the 210 months. He could just say more than those months and not life. But I still don't know. He was crying, and you can see that he feels remorse, and you know why. It's a good thing that he did plead guilty, and he spared the the families out of a trial, the gut-wrenching process of a trial, the weight of a trial, and all of that. In that sense, he was good that he did that. He spared the family a lot of heartache, and he's taking accountability. But that is not enough to absolutely. Oh, my days hotkeys. I'm so sorry. Wow. Oh, my days. That I'm so sorry. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. We really appreciate that. Sending you a big hug, friend. Um, it's yeah, it's very hard. I'm so sorry about that, friend. Um, it's oh Well, like it's just the thing of balance. You don't want to, you know, being crying all the time because then the judge can say that it's just the pretend one. I don't know. It is a very hard situation, but he is being um appropriate for it. Oh yes, absolutely agree. There is no excuse ever for getting behind the wheel after drinking ever. Absolutely. And those ever I could be in caps and absolutely. Um oh, thank you very much, Hannah. I really, really appreciate that. And you're gonna make me cry again, so don't stop.
Absolutely. Please take as much as you want.
shot.
Or refill it.
So
There's a.
yeah.
It might be empty.
Oh my days. It's oh never. It never definitely goes away. It always stays with you. I lost my baby. I lost my baby 8 years this year. And he's still with me. Every single day. Every single day I wake up is the first thought on my mind and the last thought on when I go to bed. And it was not because of any accident that he passed, but it's still a loss. So that's there. um yeah, I know exactly. It's just and the thing is, he was sober at the time of this incident. At least that's one thing that kind of goes in his favor, that he was sober, and I don't know if it is in his favor or not. I don't know. Um, it's just oh, Hannah, I'm sorry. I didn't know meant to make you cry. I'm so sorry, my friend. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah. So it is hard. It's a pain, definitely not. Thank you, William. Appreciate it. You are amazing. Every single one of you are amazing. Um, it's yeah. uh, Yeah, exactly. You got yourself a home, Stephanie, and you got other people at home, because when you're driving, it's not just you on the road. You have a lot of other people, and we saw with this case. I mean, it was Andrea's car that he had. It could have been the other car of the person that was in front of Andrea. It could have been anyone. And I mean, if you have people that can drive you, you can go out and have a good time. But as long as you call someone uh, to drive you, or Uber or whatever, I would have preferred to spend money on that and still have my life and other people have their lives, than having the guilt for the rest of my life that I unalived someone because I was too cheap to get a Uber or a Lyft or a taxi or anything, or just make a call to my parents to pick me up, or a friend or someone that is sober to drive me home. I mean, and we saw that with the case of that girl out of South Carolina, Jessica Morosky. She decided to get behind the wheel and killed a bride on her wedding night, and it's absolutely tragedy. And now she's trying to appeal her sentencing, and that appeal was just denied. I just got a notification earlier, and I'm glad that it was, because she needs to serve every single year of the 25 years that she got, because she's still gonna have her life after prison. The victim isn't, and in this case as well. um you know call anyone. It's exactly exactly, Kara, and I absolutely agree. So um if- I know I agree with you, okay, and absolutely, we have to be part, see. Oh, OG, they call me, but but that's the impact. You basically save their lives, and many other people are still alive because of that, and it's an impact that many people don't see, and they don't think about it. And I know when you're drunk or anything, you don't think about the consequences of your actions. That's why you should maybe prearrange thing, and because you're going out, you know what you're gonna do. No one is going to go out without the intention of drinking, unless you have a strong willpower. But believe me, I don't. If I go to a club, I'm going to drink. That's absolutely 100% sure. So, but that is one thing I have never done. I've done a lot of mistakes in my life, but drinking driving, that's one that I never did and absolutely will never do, because I've lost someone like that, and I don't want to be the cause because you might think, oh, nothing is going to happen to me. You don't know. You're impaired. Your reflection times are shorter, and it's not, yeah, it's not a good way, and it's heartbreaking to be on that side, on that phone call, saying that a person that you know, that you love, is in hospitals fighting for their life, or are not here anymore because of a drunk driver. And that's a horrible thing to go through, and it's a horrible pain. So oh yeah, absolutely, Stephanie, I absolutely agree, we have to take care of each other. So but that's fine. You can always be the designated driver, Hannah. If I go out, I'll definitely call you. Since you're just down in Manchester, I will give you a call and you will be my designated driver. But it's crazy. I Young people is like this particular kid. He was his parents were too allowing to of him, probably, of doing things that he shouldn't, like, for example, drive and have good cars. My When I started driving, after I was allowed to start driving, I knew, and I know myself, I can't get a too sportsy for car because I like speed. I like speeds. I used to be a race driver. I'm not anymore. But after an accident that I had, no one was injured. I got pretty scared. I Yes, you can get a special hat, Hannah. Absolutely. After that accident, I got scared. I stopped doing it. I now don't allow myself to have a pretend car, a good car in my hands, because I know I like speed, and I am not gonna ever allow myself of that, because I know that, and I know that it's like an addiction. It's an addiction of the speed, it's the adrenaline, it's the good feeling of that, and I know how that feels. That's why I will never allow myself to have that. I am tell garden bot all the time. I don't want a good car. I just want a cheeky bang bang that takes me from point A to point B, and that's it. I don't want. Yeah, you're gonna have a chauffeur's hat, absolutely. You know. Um. So yeah, I absolutely agree. The parents let kids do everything and anything, and they prefer, in my opinion, right? This is my opinion, and I'm more than happy to hear your opinion in the comments or in the chat below. Just let me know. You know, uh, they want to be kids' friends instead of their parents. So it's yeah, so it's just fine. Oh, Hannah, I know it's absolutely fine, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I really, really do appreciate it. You are a great person. I agree. We do need to lighten up the mood, but I also want to be respectful. So it's just getting like the balance between both. But oh, thank you very much, Zeo. I appreciate you. I think a tricycle will be absolutely perfect for me. Or maybe even a bike. Can it be a bike? Because tricycle, it's like a little bit lower down to the floor. So I want speed. I agree. I agree with you. I do like it. I'm not afraid to admit, but I know how I am. So that's why I have my own controls things in my hands of, like, for example, don't get a good car because I know how I can get. It's fine. Um, Hannah, by the way, how is your sister? I think I need to you all say but
Aren't you
I
glad you
hope your
didn't work
sister's
for
feeling
me?
better. I think court is about to come
Oh
back.
my gosh.
Um,
Yeah, this is the prosecutor's minivan out there.
so yeah,
See what Adam's wearing.
what do you guys? Court is like a bit noisy right now. It's not started. What do you guys think? Do you think that the prosecution, the defendant Chase, is gonna speak on this one? Is he gonna have something to talk about, or do you think he's gonna be silent and the defense is not going to have a case to present. I believe he is. I think he's gonna do it because he has shown remorse. I think so far, I think to me, he pleading guilty has shown remorse, a bit of remorse. But I think he's gonna wanting to speak and apologize. I'm sure, and I honestly hope he doesn't now make it by himself because that's the mistake that every single defendant do. Make the whole thing about themselves. And that's not it. That this is not about him. Yes, it is his sentence. The remarks are gonna be direct for him, but it's also about the victims and they needed to have a voice. So oh yeah. y- I absolutely agree with you, William, 100%. That um you know, I hope that he does that too. So I guess we will see. I think court is coming back now. So yeah, everyone's coming back. He's already there. So we are getting ready to come back. Whew. I think I need more tissues.
You guys want to know that Representative Mari Levitt is here also, just
Okay.
FYI, she sponsored the BMAC.
Okay.
Which is on the governor's desk.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please have a seat. Counselor, are you ready to proceed? Are we on the record?
We are, Your Honor, and yes, I am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, after seeing, hearing, and experiencing the state's presentation, the family's comments, everything that's gone on thus far, there's no question, and I've said it before in sentencings, that these types of cases are probably the hardest that a defense attorney has to deal with. You know, the reason they're the toughest is because typically in these types of cases, you're dealing with good parties on both sides. Parties that have lives, families, and because of a bad decision, a tragic decision, there's a ripple effect that affects so many people. Your Honor, this case has been highly publicized. It's been in the media, there's been a lot of public comment on it. One of the things I want to address that I've heard more often than not is that Mr. Jones has no remorse, that there's been no remorse shown by Mr. Jones throughout this case. Your Honor, I've gotten an opportunity to know Mr. Jones. I've been able to speak with him, go through things with him, and I've gotten to know him for the last year plus. But I'll never forget the first time that I met Mr. Jones, 18 years old, at Harborview Medical Center, in a room by himself, unable to be around family, with no information about what's going on. And I walk in and I introduce myself. Jones, I'm your attorney. And the first thing that he looks up and asks me from that bed is, did I hurt anybody? That was the first thing on his mind. Your Honor, that's when I had the toughest, probably one of the toughest conversations I've ever had. I had to tell Mr. Jones, yes, you hurt 6 people, 4 of them passed away. It was in that immediate moment, Your Honor, that Mr. Jones deflated. If there was a hole within that bed that he was sitting in, I think he would have fallen right through it. The amount of sorrow and remorse that I saw in Mr. Jones at that very moment, I'll never forget. The tears that welled up in his eyes, the shock and inability to speak. It's something that I hope nobody else ever has to experience. And it's not to diminish. I'm not telling this to diminish what everybody else has gone through, because what they have gone through is unsurmountable. But I want to set the record straight that Mr. Jones has had remorse throughout this entire process. Not only did I see it that day, but I saw it carry throughout this entire process. He understands that he made the biggest, most tragic decision of his life. And we've talked about how he wishes day in and day out that he could undo that day. But he also understands that there's nothing that he can do to undo what he's done. The lives that he's affected, the fact that the only thing that he can do going forward is to try and make a change, and a positive one at that. Your Honor, in terms of the sentencing recommendation, as the state put out, this is a recommendation, an agreed joint recommendation for 210 months. And I did put quite a bit of legal authority and explanation as to why youthfulness needs to be considered. And I don't want to belabor that point, Your Honor. The court is, I'm sure, well aware of the science, the fact that before you reach 25, the brain has not been fully formed, the fact that there are issues with foreseeability and how young people process their actions. And so not only has that gone through the court systems, but there's a lot of case law, and the court is well aware of that. But what I do want to highlight when I talk about youthfulness, Your Honor, is I want to take us all back when we were teenagers in our early 20s and think about the poor decisions that some of us made. The decisions that, although we made them at a young age, we still have grown up to be positive individuals, successful people in our community, productive members of society. And that's what I believe that Chase Jones will be able to do. He made the most tragic decision of his life. He has seen and heard the ripple effect that it has had, not just on those 6 individuals that were in that vehicle, but on everybody else that's here. The people that have reached out to the court, the public that has made comments in the media. He has seen the effect that it has had on our society as a whole. And I think in looking at an individual that was 18, now 19 at the time, that's a lot to take in.
It took a double murder.
Hang on. Bear with me a moment. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened there. Are you kidding? Hang on. Did they just literally finish the... Oh my days. Hang on, hang on. 1 second. Sorry about this. I don't know what they did. Let me see if I can find it in any other way. 1 second. Oh, I'll check it out later then, Hannah. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Literally the... Oh, come on. They cannot do this, can they? Oh, fudge. Trying to find to see if there is any other source, and I can't see anything. Oh, come on. Sorry. Maybe they just lost it. Yeah, that could be. I'm trying to to refresh it to see if it comes back. Otherwise, that's going to be a little bit annoying and not good. Oh, man, sorry about this, guys. Because now it's like it was not really that far from the finish, and we went through the hardest part. I don't understand. Um, come on. I'm trying to see if in their website court if he's doing it, but ads is just making me my thingy blind. Yeah, I know. I want to know the end as well. This is just see if I can find anything else on this. Oh, hang on, I found another one, I think. Oh no, there. Hang on.
That there will be consequences for his decision, and he is taking accountability and embracing those consequences, and will serve the sentence that this court imposes. And we ask that it be the agreed recommendation that the parties have put forward. Thank you.
Counsel, I neglected to ask you, excuse me, I did receive a handful of quite a few letters on behalf of Mr. Jones. I wasn't sure if anybody was speaking on his behalf. It is obviously perfectly fine if folks do want to, and it's equally fine if they do not.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I know that my client's parents would like to be able to make a statement. However, after talking to them, both on the break and leading up to this, they have written a statement that they'd ask me to read for them.
A statement for you to read?
Yes.
Okay. And I apologize, is that part of the materials that have been provided, or is it separate?
No, it's separate, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, this comes from my client's parents, Dan and Kimberly Jones. Mr. Hudson, Mr. and Mrs. Wilcoxon, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, we want to start by expressing our sincere apologies from the bottom of our hearts for the loss of Matilda, Eloise, Andrea, and Buster that were caused by the senseless and selfless decisions our son made that day. No doubt this is an unimaginable pain, and if we could take their places, we would not hesitate. We pray for all of you every day. We pray for God to take us instead. We have grieved for your losses nonstop and will continue for the rest of our days. We have visited the crash site to lay flowers and place a memorial. We have watched all the news and media clips following this tragic event, and the forgiveness that some of you have bestowed upon our son is incredibly gracious. We never expected to hear anything like that, and we will never forget it. We never intended to ask for forgiveness. We can't imagine how difficult it might be. We have had a lot of time to reflect on what kind of parents we have been and where we went wrong, leading to our child's careless actions that cause great pain. Although we can't turn back time, we're finding it difficult to forgive ourselves for the mistakes we made along the way that led to this tragedy. This will haunt us forever. We regret that we haven't been able to contact any of you to express our condolences and apologies or visit their final resting places until now due to legal reasons. We still don't know how to navigate this and are unsure what to do. We hope that perhaps something good will come out of this somehow. Mr. Hudson, we apologize to you and your children for the loss of your wife and their mother. We also apologize to you for the physical pain that Nolan and Charlotte are going through. Mr. and Mrs. Wilcoxon, we apologize to you and your other children for the loss of Matilda and Eloise. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, we apologize to you and the other children for the loss of Buster. Sincerely, Daniel and Kimberly Jones. Your Honor, when it's appropriate, I do know that Mr. Jones would like to attempt to address the court.
Okay, Mr. Jones, you're not required to say anything. If you wish to say something before sentence is imposed, right now would be the time to do that. It's completely up to you. Kelsey, you can go ahead and sit down if you wish.
Thank you.
Take your time, Mr. Jones.
Your Honor, my client would ask that I read it on his behalf.
Understand.
Mr. Hudson, Mr. and Mrs. Wilcoxon, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, I'm so incredibly sorry for the losses you've suffered and the damages I've dealt. I apologize for the unimaginable pain and suffering I've caused your families. I made poor and selfish choices by ignoring my problems, by speeding. Truth is, I was addicted to speed, but not because of an adrenaline rush or excitement or any of that. I used speed like a tool to ignore my problems. I used the pedal to put all my emotions into which turned out to be the biggest mistake of my life. I never thought I could cause such a tragedy. Not only did this leave me with physical scars, but the mental scars every time I have been in a car since I feel terrified that any moment something could happen. I remember the accident. I remember the pain and how my body looked and how long it took before I could walk again. I have no idea what it's been like for all of you, but I can only hope you got all the support and help you need. I don't know what it's like to lose someone close to you, let alone a family member, and I can't even begin to imagine the pain of it all. I know some of you have said you forgive me, and I'm not sure how, but that does mean so much to me, more than you know. I thank you for that. I'm so sorry for the losses I've made you suffer. I take full responsibility and accept the punishment given to me. And with time, I will find a way to make something positive out of this and help others who choose this behavior. I wish there was a way to go back and change things, but I can't. And it will haunt me for the rest of my life. While I don't expect this letter to make a difference in how you feel about me, I owe it to you and myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did that conclude the defense?
It does, Your Honor.
All right. We're here today because of a tragedy that should have and could have been avoided. As a result, the life in this world of Andrea Hudson, Lloyd Buster Brown, Matilda and Eloise Wilcoxon were cut tragically short. Two others, Nolan, Charlotte Hudson, were seriously injured, who will endure pain that shall not be ignored. In an instant moment, the lives of these families, friends, schoolmates, teachers, mentors, neighbors, soccer teammates, running partners, and first responders were shaken and altered forever. The folder of letters that I received, the comments today, the photographs, the video, demonstrate the pain and speak of pain and sorrow and fear and haunts and struggles. And I read about clouds of grief and the holes in their hearts. It is my job and task with imposing a fair and just sentence. And I'll try my best to accomplish that. But nothing I do or say today is going to alleviate anyone's pain, anger, frustration, or grief. I sincerely wish it could. Sadly, the law falls short of that promise. But I hope, however, is that the memories of Andrea, Buster, Matilda, and Eloise are not tethered to that tragic event for today's hearing, but how they were described in the letters and the comments today. For example, Andrea, for her effortless boldness, her hilariously authentic self, and as one person described, the coolest person ever. Remember Buster for his laughter, his warmth, life energy, and his vibrant source of joy. Someone else described, and please remember Matilda for her kindness, her sweetness, and her joyful disposition. And Eloise for what someone described as her spunky and good-natured curiosity. And remember to check in on the well-being of Nolan and Charlotte. It will help them. I've never met these individuals, but through the letters, the photographs, and comments today, I got to know them. So Chase Jones, I got to know a little bit about you as well. From many that loved you, this is what I learned. I learned that you are thoughtful, that you're respectful, that you're caring. I learned about your difficulties and obstacles at various times through your life, and how you faced them with grace, self-motivation, and a desire, someone described it as a desire toward self-improvement. I read the letters, and I observed you today, and I do believe that you're genuinely remorseful for this tragedy. We are not defined by our worst moments, but rather how we respond to those moments. And from what I've been told, Mr. Jones, you have the extraordinary potential and drive to be the best version of yourself. And not only learn from this tragic event, but teach and hopefully serve others as well. My advice to you, sir, is I sincerely hope those goals and promises can come to fruition, not by words, but by your actions. If anybody leaves this courtroom with a dry eye, including me, having a will does not make me stoic or lose my humanity. This is tough. It's tough for everybody in this courtroom, everybody. I'm obligated under the law to follow certain criteria, sentencing guidelines. The criteria that I'm tasked to look at to determine a just and fair sentence is whether the punishment for the criminal offense is proportionate to the seriousness of the crime. Does the sentence respect the law by providing a just sentence? Does my sentence or the sentence protect the public? It also does it offer an individual who's pled guilty an opportunity to improve on himself or herself? And does it reduce the risk of reoffending by protecting the community? I know these lawyers. I've known them for a long time. They're experienced. I know that they took many of those factors and other factors in negotiating and considering what they believe to be a just and fair result. I am going to follow the agreed recommendation and impose the following on counts 1, 2, 3, and 4 210 months to run concurrent with each other and concurrent with counts 5 and 6. On counts 5 and 6, 84 months to run concurrent with each other and concurrent with counts 1 through 4. 18 months of community custody on counts, at all counts, that will enter in no contact with the families of Hudson's, Wilcoxon, and Browns. Restitution, with my understanding, is to be determined at a later date. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And what is your client's position about being present for a potential restitution hearing?
Your Honor, my client would waive his presence.
Will impose the $50 Title 46 fee, the $500 victim penalty assessment fee, the conditions, the conditions of no moving violations, that you do not drive a motor vehicle without a valid license and proof of insurance, that you do not drive a motor vehicle without a functioning intelligent speed assistant device, active mode, and that you complete level 2 driving program. Is there anything else that the state believes that I may have missed or need clarification?
No, I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Just want to clarify, Your Honor, is waiving the court costs. We did not ask for those.
I'm sorry?
Waiving the court
I
costs.
am waiving the court
Okay.
costs.
Your Honor, the families actually,
I'm sorry. What do you want to talk to?
families would wish to have you not order a no contact order. They are open to Mr. Jones
Some sort of
contacting them.
justice?
At some point, they are open to Mr. Jones contacting them, and they do not want the lifetime no contact order.
Okay, I suspect the defense has no objection to that.
Certainly no objection to that, Your Honor.
I will not order, and that's for all 3 families?
It's all 3 families, and if at some point there's some issue, we can always come
Of
before the
course,
court.
of course.
Actually, Your Honor, I'm going to hand it to the court to begin the fingerprint form that was done here in court, and your clerk has given us the thumbs up on the collateral rights and the notice of ineligibility to possess a firearm, and Mr. Chase's loss of voting rights.
And Your Honor, we did go through all of those before his signature. I approach. Remaining for the judgment and sentence, it appears to comport with Your Honor's oral ruling.
Mr. Jones, before I sign this document, do you have any questions about the sentence that's been imposed?
No.
I have signed the judgment and sentence, the appendix B criminal history, also signed the DNA order, the appendix H of the community custody, the notice of ineligibility to possess a firearm, loss of right to vote, and the fingerprint form. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor, I will need to serve Mr. Jones with his notice of ineligibility to possess a firearm. Mr. Jones, you cannot be near a firearm. Washington law interprets that very broadly. Don't be in a house, don't be in a car, don't be near a firearm until a court actually signs an order and allows you to possess a firearm. You are losing your right to vote in this because of this while you are in the Department of Corrections. As soon as you are released from the Department of Corrections, you can register to vote and use that right, even when you're on community custody. It's just while you are in the Department of Corrections. And if that law changes, you'll know about it in the Department of Corrections. And I'm serving you with that notice.
Receipt acknowledged, Your Honor.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything from the defense?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
That concludes this matter.
Thank you.
Rise. We'll be at recess.
Oh wow. That's whew. Need to breathe. Need to breathe in. I think so. And I think he's gonna have to learn it the hard way. I mean, what a waste of youth and life that all around, from the defendant to to the victims in this case. I think we all need a keys, definitely a whole box of tissues. um just uh, yeah, it's horrible, this case. In a way, I am very glad that it did not go for a trial, because otherwise um it would have been even worse. I think, um it would be worse to make the family go through a whole trial and everything. So I think that would be absolutely even worse, that could have happened. But I mean, for a family to be that forgiving and to even wanting contact with him after all of this, that is pretty big. That shows some character, right there in the family of the victims and everything. So you know, I maybe from the gallery, there were little girls in the gallery, so maybe definitely there was no win-win. No one wins. No, everyone lost. There's a set of parents that lost their kid for the next 17 years and a half at least, that is going to be in prison and is not going to be able to think. There is parents in the gallery that lost their kids altogether. They will never see them again. um Definitely there was no win in this whole situation. Everyone lost something, and that it's hard. So, but at least is one of them, that is taking responsibility for it and is actually, doing something. And hopefully that he uses this few years that he has in prison to finish high school, if he did not finish high school, do learn something, do better with his life, so when he actually comes out, he literally does something with his life that it can be completely different. But anyway, um that gonna be it. It has been a very emotional stream. I already knew that it was gonna be emotional, but not this much. But it's definitely been one of the hardest. I am gonna go and watch some TikToks just to give my brain a bit of a break, maybe cry a little bit more and enjoy a little bit of the weekend. And I hope you guys do exactly the same thing. I Please hug your loved ones, grandbabies, babies, husbands, uh, anyone that you have around you. Please do not ever take them for granted. Kiss them, love them, have a great time with them. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you Monday. Still not know what trial we're going to be covering, but we'll do something. We'll find something. We always do. So, absolutely have a great weekend. Have a great evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Love you each other and have a great one. I'll see you Monday. Bye.
And I'm a real-time crime professional.